Good afternoon, everyone. Guys, sorry about the light. It's all weird. We're in this new studio. Well, I say studio, an extension that we're turning into a studio. We're just gonna have to bear with it for a couple of days until we get everything sorted. But what I want to talk about now is what's been happening with the Falklands. For those of you who've been following the channel for a while, it's one of the areas I think that the United Kingdom is going to be. We're going to have to fight another war down there, guys. Honestly, I don't see any other way around it, especially if we're looking at the Middle East conflicts, going, escalating into a wider reaching conflict, zone. If we're looking at the war in Ukraine expanding and all these things are looking like they're going to happen, there makes absolutely zero sense, no sense at all, for the Argentinians not to take another crack at the Falklands. There's too much money down there. There's too much, there's too much potential for money revenue. Basically, there's no way to sugarcoat it. The amount of money that's off the coast of the Falkland Islands is absolutely huge. So it's come out recently. There's a new, there's a new diplomatic row in the government. Basically, the Falkland Islands the islanders on the Falklands are wanting to drill for oil. Now, I'll share this with you guys if I won't share it with. If I will, I've said I will. I don't want to say I'm going to share things and then don't share them, and then you guys think you're missing out. So Falklands risks diplomatic row with Britain over plans to drill huge oil field. UK powerless to stop overseas territories from extracting 800 million barrels of oil. So the United Kingdom, they need to look at, so basically the Falkland Islands are wanting to drill for oil, which is in it's a direct conflict with what's his name? Ed Miliband said, where he's blocking all new gas and oil drilling projects. So what looks like will happen is the guys in the Falklands, they're going to start drilling for oil because, like we said, there's a load of oil down there, and the Russians have found this big deposit, and that's not the only deposit down there. The amount of oil that's down in the Falklands, just the Russian oil deposit, sorry, not the Russian oil deposit, just the oil deposit that the Russians have found, that makes it an attractive prize for any would-be adversary. The other pockets of oil, the other pockets of minerals, the key to Antarctica, everything, it makes the Falkland, whoever controls the Falkland Islands, it makes it a jewel, it makes it a prize because of that claim to Antarctica and all the money that's involved down there. So what I think the government are going to have to do with this, they're going to just have to try and, do a sleight of hand or do some skullduggery, because there's no way that the government can afford to lose that amount of tax. Even though Ed Miliband, and it sounds like there's this war on gas and oil companies and drilling for gas and oil, at the same time we're cutting money for people. We're having to say we've got no money. All of this stuff kind of makes no sense. Like if you was in your, imagine being in your house and you found, I don't know, a huge, just go with it. You've just found a huge bag of money in the garden, but you've told your kids you're not digging any more holes in the garden. You said, no, we're not digging any more holes in the garden. And your kids are saying, but, Daddy, there's we're really struggling to pay the bills here. We're not allowed to have the heating on. We can't really afford to put food on the table like we used to be able to. Nanan's not being able, we can't buy Nanan her, pay Nanan's gas bill anymore. Why don't we just go and get that money out of the garden? And then the dad's saying, but we said we're not drilling any, digging any holes in the garden. It's absolute absurdity. If you live in the United Kingdom, we should be going and taking that oil, and because we fought a war in the Falklands to secure that. So why wouldn't you go and take that? Anyway, so what it's looking like is going to happen is the diplomatic row is going to, obviously it'll get sorted out by David Lammy with his vast, with his vast diplomatic efforts. He'll go down there, he'll sort things out or whatever. He'll come back and and they'll start drilling for oil down there. what's going to happen slowly but surely, these drilling sites will start to get expanded and expanded until down in the Falklands, you could see that this being the biggest oil field on the planet, because it's absolutely huge, the amount of resources. And this is just what we know. So recently in the Falklands as well, a couple of days ago, there was an incident where an Argentinian member of parliament wore a T-shirt that said something like, the Falklands are Argentinian, and the British ambassador wouldn't have a picture taken, with that woman wearing that T-shirt. Again, it's kind of like one of these niggling things that sounds, petty, but it still shows you the vast rift between the United Kingdom and Argentina. And it's got nothing to do with politics. It's got nothing to do with sovereignty. I mean, guys, come on. Do we really think Argentina, the Argentinians, care about an island off their coast that's got a load of people on it that speak English? Do they want that land? Do they want that pile of rocks? No, of course not. They want the claim to the oil, and they want the claim to Antarctica. That's the only reason. Now, as we move forwards, into more conflicts, and the world the world looking like we're moving forwards into a global conflict, of industrial scale. Do we really think that the Russians are not going to see this opportunity and ally with the Argentinians? Do we think that the Russians, who've already got that capacity, they've already got the sales routes, they've already got the customers, do we really think that the Russians are not going to provide Argentina with long-range weapons to strike the Falklands? Of course they are, guys. Remember, this is my my analysis, my speculation, and a lot of my own opinion. I will put the links to this article in the description below. Don't forget to join us tonight at 8, guys. And if you've not done so already, please like, comment, and subscribe, because we really enjoy it when you guys do that. Anyway, guys, I'm going to continue working on trying to get this lighting sorted. I'm going to mag to grid. I'll get you guys. Ooh, guys, before I go, one more thing as well. These F-16s that the Argentinians are, these F-16s that the Argentinians are buying, are, procuring for, I think that I've done videos on it before. They're basically procuring them from, I think, Denmark. The significance of these now, it becomes really apparent to me, and it kind of, the penny didn't drop until I realized what was happening in Ukraine. If you think about, these long-range weapon systems that the Ukrainians are going to use, the F-16s is actually a delivery platform for the long-range cruise missiles, so Storm Shadow, the Scalp, and the other ones. Now, if Argentina get these F-16s, and again, of course, they can do it with other systems, but the interoperability and the NATO systems, they're just better. It's kind of like, they're just better, guys, because they're built under capitalism, and everything built under capitalism is just, is just better. Because rather than in capitalism, and you could argue this case, and I take those arguments, but normally in capitalism, you get to build something, you get to produce something if you've gone through a tendering process, if you've put an application in, and your system is better, that's the one that will get funded. In the Soviet states, in socialism, you get to build an airplane if your dad knows the finance minister who's giving the money out, or something like that. So, that's why the NATO systems are better. Now, it only just clicked to me a couple of days ago why the significance of the F-16s. If the Argentinians, which they've already bought them, the sale's gone through and everything's had a thumbs up, can use these F-16s as a potential launch pad for long-range missiles, this would be absolutely devastating for the Falkland Islands, guys, because they could have huge standoff capability. The F-16s wouldn't need to go into missile range of the Falkland Islands, and the F-16s could just fly around the Falkland Islands, releasing long-range missiles and bombarding the Falkland Islands. We're not there yet, but I do see this coming very, very soon. And it's all about the money, guys. It's always about the money. It's about the oil. It's about the minerals in the Falklands. And, this is going to happen at some point. Like I said, guys, I'll put the links in the description. Don't forget to like and comment and share my stuff. I'm going to mag to grid, and I'll get you guys another video later.